rich continue to favor the rich. This is like how the rich continue to marry into rich families, and how the rich continue to like give benefits to the children of rich people, even in countries like Ghana, right? That is very, very important to make characterization. We'll go on to other things which are important. Let's look at what vocational jobs look like, what trad college degrees look like in status quo. Vocational jobs in status quo normally look like jobs which are not necessarily very sought after as blue-collar jobs. This is, of course, there's a certain level of stigma behind them. Because the rich do certain jobs, because the rich do certain jobs, we think that those jobs must have a certain level of premium, and so therefore are more important. What that does is that it creates a certain level of scarcity in today's debate. What that scarcity does in today's debate is that it takes out one of the arguments which opposition try and run in today's debate. They try and tell you that, oh, the traditional college degrees will probably have a lot of money, right? But no, basic economics. Scarcity creates like a certain level of economic value to an individual or to a thing. What this looks like in status quo is the fact that, as it is right now, just because something is more scarce, but the fact that human beings will need it means that there's a higher value for it. So you forever need a plumber, but the average individual doesn't understand how plumbing works. So the plumber can come to you, and the plumber can inflate prices and get a certain level of benefits. You need an electrician, but most people don't know how electricians work happens. So what that means is that they can have a higher number of value, right? That means that case can run back to the position. You are already winning on that case. Upon continue with feminine characterization, and why it's really, really important or really sensitive in today's debate, right? What kind of jobs would this very high intelligence individual go for if they go for a traditional degree? And then, in essence, we're looking at what a traditional degree normally looks like. A highly intelligent person probably go for a job with high social credit, because they believe that a high social credit job has a higher value for like monetary gain, right? So what that looks like something like law or something like engineering and other stuff like that. But let's look at law as an example. In order to get into the law school, the University of Ghana, a lot of bureaucratic structures you have to go through, right? You have to know people, you have to first of all be really, really smart, right? But note, being intelligent can mean a number of things. But a lot of times, your capacity to improve and to grow is not determined only by the fact that you're intelligent, but also by the amount of resources you have and your capability to use those resources to the best of your ability. So if I'm very, very intelligent and I cannot get past questions to learn, I might get 6 days and someone gets 8 days. Doesn't mean we are not nearly as intelligent, because the person has better resources. All that means is that first and foremost, it's significantly harder for me to get the course in the first place. But secondly, when I reach there, it becomes harder for me to learn and get the required degree, which is especially important for me to pass with the highest flying colors. What that means is that after I leave and enter the job market, the people who are rich, who could first and foremost pass very well, will also after passing know the right people to connect with in order to succeed in the job market. What that means is that as a very poor person, it becomes especially hard for me to actually enter the job market and have a meaningful impact on the job market, or to successfully be able to make a meaningful impact on myself. Because a lot of the resources have been taken up by the rich who continue to perpetuate that structural reason and the hegemonies they have in status quo. Even if it's not going to be the law school, let's look at the engineering school. You need to have a very good laptop in order to use apps like AutoCAD and Blender, which need a lot of processing. These laptops cost upwards of 14,000 cedis, etc., etc. What that means is that for the average individual, they can't pay for it, but especially harder for the poor individual. Poor means that structural reasons exist which creates problems for this individual and make it harder for them to exist. But in our case, and why is it important? And after all this feminine characterization, they shouldn't be running anything funny to today's debate. I don't think the panel should use no funny things. Right? First and foremost, let's listen to the first phase. It's honestly the easiest path to success for a poor individual. After all that feminine characterization, we show you how structurally it becomes almost impossible for an individual to succeed or to reach certain levels of like success because of the structures which exist and the problems which exist. Right? POI. What that means is that the only path that an individual can realistically take to succeed is a path which is not stuck inside the hegemonic systems which exist, i.e. a path which is not white collar in of itself. What this looks like is they have to separate themselves from the structures which necessarily perpetuate the same ideologies of this job is more important, this job has a higher premium. And look for something which is number one, more capable of getting them a certain level of income, but number two, more capable of separating themselves from the elite who are constantly trying to manipulate them, right? But why this is especially important is because it gives them a certain level of power over the rich people, which doesn't necessarily exist, because now they have skills which are highly sought after, which the rich generally do not have and are generally incapable of. What that means is that they have a certain level of buy-in or say, because originally they didn't necessarily have the resources or the capability of having that conversation of being on the same level playing field. But due to the knowledge they have acquired and due to the unique skills they have, they are not on that playing field, POI.
So if you want to bridge the margin between rich and the poor, one way the rich continue to be rich is because they control employment. You are going for a diploma process, you'll be employed by the engineer, who is the rich guy, who is exploiting you. How do you solve that problem?
So here's what they are telling you. They are telling you that if you want to also get out of the problem, you should also become an engineer and start your own business. But we've already shown you how that is very unlikely to happen, because even if you become an engineer, you're not going to pass with a very high grade, you're not going to have the resources to start your own company, you're not going to have the resources to have the best ability as compared to someone who already has a father who is deep into engineering, whatever. It's basically how monopolies work in the status quo. Monopolies already have a large market to they already have a large ability to manipulate the market. What that means is that because they already have a lot of market power, when a new company comes into the game, it's just snap them out. This is like how it's becoming harder for companies to operate in Ghana because MTN exists, so the government has to take a step. In this case, you can't tell rich people to stop being rich. Or what you can do is tell the poor people to take their path, which gives them more power and more ability to improve upon themselves and potentially bridge that gap. Their world isn't better, it doesn't provide any benefits unless they can provide it. And what have I done in my experience? I've shown you conclusively that even if I decide to take a traditional college, it's going to be especially hard for me to become a rich person, number one. But number two, that the rich people constantly push against me because there's a certain premium on being rich, and these people like to help themselves and like to lock the secrets inside a certain geographical region and within a small area. And most importantly, I show you that the only path to success is the path where we show ourselves as unique and having unique individual skills. And you do the rest. It was a good day to be Prime Minister. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you very much, Prime Minister, for that fine speech. We call on the leader of hope. Leader of hope, ready when you are. Yeah.
Okay, so panel, I'll be doing basically two things in today's debate. First, rebuttals, and two, I'll characterize what a poor but intelligent student look like, and then the repercussions of his or her actions if he or she should take on the course in a vocational training institute, as opposed to what he or she actually wants. So, first, to rebuttals. Opposition claims that vocational jobs are not respected, and yet we concede 100% with that. Here is why. They are not popular, and they do not require any much special skills to operate. Two, there is less income. Even after you complete school, you get less money from it than that engineer who went to school for 6 years. Now, here is why it is important. These poor Bardini students cannot risk finishing school and still having a job that cannot take care of his 5 students at home. He needs to go through the school so that after they are done, they can still be able to affect change within their society or on the individual level. So we understand, we concede that vocational jobs are not respected. That is why they shouldn't go to the vocational training institute to even get that job. Two, he claims structural reasons exist to keep the poor down. Yes, we concede to that. That is why it is better for such a kid to go into the stream where he has the opportunity to meet people above his level. That is why such a kid should be able to enter the law school, should be able to enter the engineering college, or should be able to enter any college of his choice, where he has the opportunity to link with great men who are way above his status, so that they can elevate him to the status he is also in. So that's been my battle. So let me characterize what the intelligent but poor students look like. This is someone who lacks, who has poor financial stability, and sometimes even poor financial literacy. This is someone whose parents don't know how to make money, so they don't teach him how to make money. There's poverty entrenched in the family, so there is a less likelihood that he or she knows the right ways to be able to come out of the poverty-stricken hole. Two, there is little to no external help. He or she, if the person had an uncle or auntie who was helping him, they will not call the person but an intended backward student. But this is a person or a situation where the person has little to no external help to be able to influence his or her dream. Three, this person has less exposure to sophisticated education, technology, or even financial literacy. This is someone that all the person does when the person wakes up is to open the windows so that pressure will pass on the family of 6 that were sleeping in the same room. This is someone who has not really been exposed to any sophistication to have the knowledge to be able to direct himself very well in the society. So why is this important? We realize that usually the vocational training institutes that we have within this country are not that sophisticated. You hardly go to a vocational training institute for them to use high level of technology to elevate this person's mindset. So the person is still going to be in that entrenched system where they don't meet anything new and they are still in this society. Two, we realize that the vocational training institutes we have recently in this modern world cost as much as these traditional universities. You go to a home economics student and she's buying things for practicals more than 4,000 cedis, just like what the engineering students in ATU is paying. These things cost almost the same. So it's better to be able to invest in something that you know that at the long run you are going to get greater benefits for your family and for yourself. Realize that this intended by poor person is not just going to school for himself, he's going to school to help elevate his family from poverty. Three, there are less opportunities associated with vocational certificates. That's one thing we can concede to in this country or in many parts of the world. Most of the people who went to vocational training institutes and came out are people who had some sort of funding to be able to start up businesses, to be able to make it. This Sima group, for example, was not someone who came from a poor home and finished fashion school and was able to make them in. There was some sort of funding for her startup. Many vocational training certificates do not have the sort of wide range of job opportunities that these traditional universities have. So it's a very big risk. Even if, let's say, vocational training institutes cost 100 cedis and then traditional institutes cost 1,000 cedis, at the end of the university level, what does the person seek to benefit from that vocational training institutes that he's gone to? Now, let me characterize traditional colleges. They have, most traditional colleges, related to their courses, have diverse scholarship opportunities and payment plans. They have loan schemes for them. There are lots of scholarships or grants that are brought to this country because I won't take you now, I'll take you later. They are brought to this country because of the sort of influence it has on the entire world. In engineering, marine engineering, electrical engineering, law, and mathematics, all those things, they are usually funded by higher institutions who have the ability to fund it, who have the ability to elevate this poor person from his poverty-stricken status to a higher one. They also have a lot of payment plans. That is why you can come to a school, they tell you that you pay 60% now, you pay the 40% later. Most of these vocational training institutes do not have this luxury to offer this to the people. So the person goes to school and is still not able to provide materials for practicals. Lastly, on the issue of loans, most of them trust that these students from these traditional institutions, when they finish, they will get jobs within the country, within public institutions, to be able to pay back the loan. Unlike the vocational institution that you are not certain about whether or not to be able to get a job to pay back the loan. What's your PY sheet?
In starting school, entrepreneurs are more likely to gain large amounts of money. Our world allows the poor kids to have a chance of liberating themselves from poverty.
I like that word about entrepreneurs. What does it take for one to become an entrepreneur? Right now, in the current society, most entrepreneurs either start up a business and fail rightly after, or are not able to start it up at all because of funding. It's this same money. It takes money to become a successful entrepreneur. It takes some sort of exposure. You cannot just say, I feel like selling wigs and go and buy wigs from Accra. You have to find a shipping company in China to be able to ship to be able to ship accessories to make wig to sell. So entrepreneurs themselves who make it are not necessarily strangers upon these things. Now, one thing we really need to realize is that traditional colleges have extreme